Quick question. Why is gay dad fashion either sad hoodie or pride once a year?
Well, thankfully, Gaddies exists because they understand that gay dads deserve clothes that say, I'm nurturing, I'm exhausted, and still hot.
Gaddies was started by a gay dad who looked around and said, why do straight dads get all the bad graphic tees?
They make hats, tees, hoodies to let the world know that you're a dad, but like a hot gay one.
David, you literally will not take off your Yes Gaddy hat.
Yeah, but you're weirdly committed to your caught in a dad romance t-shirt, like emotionally and spiritually.
I own it. It's perfect for school pickup, play dates, or explaining to strangers why your kid has two dads and better outfits than they do.
Gaytriarchs listeners get 20% off with code GAY20. That's GAY20.
Dressed like the Gaytriarch you are, or at least the one you used to be before bedtime was at 8.
Go to heygaddies.com. That's HEYGADDIES.com.
It was a busy sports-filled weekend. What about you? No, sorry.
I just watched your face go. And what about? Oh no, he already talked about his weekend.
Right.
So I can't say that. And then you melted.
And looking at the next thing on your outline, I'm like, oh shit, that was a terrible transition. But anyway, take it away, Dave.
I guess this is Gaytriarchs. So, Gavin, this weekend, I was very excited when I went and got my mail, and I received a letter from Gavin Lodge.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, ooh, what could this be? It's the middle of January. What could this be? And I opened up the card, and it is a Christmas card.
I knew you would give me shit for this. I knew you would. But you're welcome.
Gavin. But then I went, oh, well, this is clearly one of those fun, like, post office, they mailed it in October. We got a card from October the other day. Literally a card from October delivered to us the other day. So I was like, let me look at the postmark on this card from Gavin Lodge. January 6th.
David.
January 6th. Gavin's favorite date, first of all.
I once sent my holiday cards. First of all, it did not say Merry Christmas. It was a Happy Holidays or something like that.
Your Honor, it was very clearly a holiday card.
Yes, they were ordered on Black Friday to get the sale from Paper Culture, who plants trees with every order that you make. And they're fucking expensive. And one year I sent mine in March and I just made peace with it. I was
but you know what? I will say that's actually pretty smart because you're not competing with everyone else's cards.
Yeah, exactly. I know that I had a prominent place on many refrigerators across the country and across Port Authority bus terminal by sending my holiday cards in March. And hey, there's holidays throughout the year, and I'm wishing you a happy holiday. I knew you would give me shit about this, and yet I still cared enough to get it out there because.
I appreciate it.
And for the listener out there who received a card, I'm not going to say you're welcome. It's a sign of love, and I'm sorry that I'm that guy who I didn't get my shit together before the Christmas holiday. And you know what? I made peace with it. I lost no sleep.
Listen, it is okay. I just wanted to make fun of you a little bit. It made my weekend just a little bit brighter. How was your weekend?
Dude, my weekend was endless because I have teenagers who play sports, and it is outrageous. Why do we do this to ourselves? And I know every single parent who's on the sidelines of, in this case, a volleyball tournament was asking ourselves the same thing. I didn't get this kind of treatment as a kid. Actually, yes, I did. My mom was at my beck and call. I was an only child and I was a prince and I got taken wherever I wanted to in a gilded carriage. But I mean, it is bonkers. Anyway, so it's the dead of January. We're all supposed to be hibernating, right? No. I was in a scream fest, whistle, terrorizing scenario in the Connecticut convention center where there were dozens and dozens and dozens of volleyball courts set up with games going on incessantly. It was so loud. Also, I had a major cold this weekend. You might still be able to hear it in my radio by my podcasting voice, but we were there until 10:45 at night. Luckily, we didn't get there until about 4. But anyway, point being, it was bonkers. So one of my takeaways from it, though, was first of all, those high school boys were very aggressive. I'm not going to say anything else than that, except you're like, these are Olympic aged players and they're amazing. And my daughter is playing with a 14-year-old. So obviously they're much smaller and new kiddos. But the level of unbridled enthusiasm that I watched all of these girls play with, and they were, the technical term is not good. not good. I mean, they were losing like 15-2, 16-2, 17-3, maybe had a rally to get up to 5 points, but they were having so much fun. And I just sat there thinking, God, why can't sports always be this? The boys are aggressive and they are not exactly squealing with delight for their teammates on the sidelines. And it made me think about my son and his soccer team. I know that they feel genuine enthusiasm for what they're doing, camaraderie for their teammates, but it's just so different in that gendered way where the girls are just, sometimes, the stereotype is that there's plenty of stereotypes out there about girls not being supportive of each other. But what I find in the sports realm is they are just pissing themselves with excitement for the game, for the process, and for their teammates. And the boys are not that way.
But is that like a primal thing? Is this like something in our DNA where when we go through puberty and we're trying to capture lions for our tribe or whatever the thing is? Do you think that's like what's coming through here?
Right. The boys have to be repressed so that they're quiet and can kill lions.
Correct.
Maybe so. I mean, and also at this level, I think that the sports for a girl they're just much more, it's a social thing more. I mean, there are plenty of those girls, don't get me wrong, were very, very talented and aggressive, but there's just like more smiles on a girls' sports team, and it was just fascinating to watch. Like,
it maybe is a weakness thing, right? Because I remember at that age, everything being about with men, like you got to be strong and powerful and show no weakness. You can't like anything because if you like something that's weak.
Yeah, because you're a pussy if you show any emotion or enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I mean, dudes have so little enthusiasm for stuff, and so anyway, it was exhausting and delightful at the same time. But you know what? Kids do have, what dudes do have enthusiasm for? I'm going to go off script here for it.
Because that's what I was thinking. I have lots of enthusiasm for dick. Show me a dick and I am enthused. Sorry, go on.
I mean, frankly, straight dudes as well. There's a lot of enthusiasm for their own and who knows how many others as well. So in contrast to that, though, my generous neighbors who keep giving us football tickets gave us football tickets again on Sunday night. And this was for, it's unbelievable generosity. They are definitely not listeners of the show. But it was, I don't know if you're paying attention to football, David. What teams are you following these days?
The Orioles and the Panera Sip Clubs.
I won't go down the path again of pretending that I'm a big football fan. I'm not. But it's postseason and they're playing for Super Bowl playoffs, right? So it was a wild card game between the Patriots and the LA Chargers, which by the way are still in LA. And yes, they're the Chargers. Though I still think of them as the San Diego Chargers because I'm old and B, don't give a shit. But we were there. It was fun. It was late. It was not as cold. Blah, 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 blah. The thing I came away with was the amount of middle-aged / older men who were desperate to take their shirts off. Because then the camera will focus on them. And the amount of dudes who were enthusiastically on screen dancing with their shirts off.
Yeah.
And it was, I think we dance far too little as a society right now. We throw caution to the wind to just be silly and have fun, like the enthusiasm we're talking about. But boy, you get men in a football stadium to take their shirts off and be on camera, there's enthusiasm right there.
I'm enthusiastic about that because listen, it's a win-win. You either have hot ripped body guys or you have dad bods, both hot in their own ways. I'll get a little bit of blue paint in my bed. I don't care. Whatever they paint their bodies with.
Right.
And so also this weekend, other than your lovely, very timely card arriving, I had a very interesting conversation with my 6-year-old son that I didn't think I'd have to have until about 10, which was, where do babies come from? Now, listen, we have talked about it before. They grow in girls' bellies. And, we have talked about my children are both born via surrogacy. And, my son is biologically related to me. And so we've said, part of you is daddy and the other part is, whatever. So this weekend.
And you leave it literally at just, whatever.
Yeah, part of you is rattlesnake. So this weekend, he was like, well, where do babies come from? You say that I'm half of you. Like, how did that happen? And I was like, okay. And then we talked about, there's a sperm and an egg and they come together and then they grow in a belly and they become a baby. And, as I'm explaining these things, I keep thinking, great, done. He's satisfied. And then he took a breath and he's like, but where does the sperm come from? And so he kept peeling back the onion. And every time I was like, you're not going to get me. I'm ready for this conversation. Until we got to the point where I was saying, well, a sperm came from daddy and, we had an egg donor, and he started understanding the egg donor. And he goes, well, where does sperm come from? And I said, oh, well, they come from the boys. And he goes, but where are they in the body? And I said, okay, they are in your testicles. Those testicles that you have? Oh, yeah, there's sperm in there, and that's where the sperm comes from. And this is when he kind of stopped talking, and I went, great, we are good to go.
For the next 4 years.
And then he said, how do you get the sperm out of the testicles? And therein lied the problem. I went, oh, shit, I don't have a 6-year-old answer for this. I can't say watching Bellamy videos in Port Authority bathroom. I can't say that. Like, I can't say that to him. And my brain couldn't even come up with like a kid-friendly, like, just rubber penis on a washcloth a little bit. Like, I couldn't figure out, like, even, so I did the thing I swore I would never do as a parent, which was, I'll tell you when you're older. And he went, no, why won't you tell me now? I say, well, it's only things adults can understand. Well, can you just tell me now? And then I found myself becoming the parent I hate, which is like, I'm not telling you. I'll tell you when you're older. It's a secret. I can't tell you. And now I've made this thing more mysterious. Now he's like, well, now I need to know. And I just literally was like, I'm not telling you until you're older. You have to be at least 11 years old to hear this story.
Hilarious.
And I hate myself for it. So what should I have done, Gavin?
Oh, is this a what would you do?
Oh, God, I hope
not. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little surprised that you didn't go a little further there. I mean, you have talked about the act of sex, right?
No.
Oh, it's time, dude. It's time. He's in first grade. Yes, he's in first grade.
All right.
No, you are. No. First of all, here on Gaytriarchs, not only are we hypocrites, so you're allowed to now hate yourself. That's fine, because you went back on all your laurels. But also, we are here to change the world, and I do think that something we need to change in our world is how early we talk about sex. Now, I'm not talking about porn and doing it from behind. Although, but age-appropriate sex. And the idea that pleasure, stimulation, even ejaculation, I mean, why not? But the idea that penises go into vaginas or elsewhere is
you've already lost me.
I know. But no, I think that we should be talking about that, and you can talk about sex, and that you could say in traditional or conventional ways, penises go into vaginas, but in our case, we were able to. Oh God,
this is what I mean. This is the onion I'm unpacking.
But I don't think that you should get away from it, and also I think that you should talk about sex with him without a doubt.
I hear you. I just something about how do you get sperm out of a testicle really fucking threw me for a loop.
It is.
I was like, that was because I couldn't figure out a bridge. Like you can kind of like explain something like, babies grow in ladies' bellies, and then you can kind of unpack it. Well, it's actually in their uterus. Well, you can kind of continually open that up a little bit. But this was like I have no bridge to you know what I mean?
I think you need to go there. It's time to go there. It's fine. And he actually might say, okay, I've heard enough, or he might be, and also you'll be the one whose kid goes to school and tells everybody
100%.
And you're welcome. And you're welcome. But we should be talking about it at an age appropriate level and do a little deep dive of what you think a first grader should know. I think it's all right. But I am slapping your wrist to say I will tell you when you're 11 because
I know that was a shitty thing, but also I will say I'm proud of myself for every time we've ever talked about how people came to be and who the surrogate is and what an egg donor is. We've always been very matter of fact and very honest with them about that. And sometimes they understand it. But recently I was like, who's the girl part of you? Oh, it's the egg donor. Great. And then so egg donor and Papa made who? Hannah, where did you grow? And Amy's belly. Like it's such a unweighted, unloaded thing for them, which I really appreciate.
Yeah,
and I fucked it up by being like, we're not talking about cum yet. You're too fucking young to talk about cum. All right. Well, I will do that, and I will report back here if I am successful or not.
I definitely had, I don't think it was our first sex talk, but I definitely had a sex talk before I was expecting to. At the time, I was in a completely ill-fated but wonderful Broadway show, Head Over Heels. And in Head Over Heels, the music was the music of the Go-Go's. And we sang Heaven is a Place on Earth. And in that, it was a light, showy thing where there was basically a big-ass sheet with shadow projections of the king and the queen having sex. And my kids saw the show, and I believe that they were in second grade and kindergarten, maybe first. Yeah, second grade and kindergarten. And my daughter asked, what were they doing behind the sheets? I found 100 ways to Wednesday to figure out not how to say that they were having sex. But she definitely peeled the onion. We got there eventually where she's like, not... I kind of led with her actual question of, but what were they doing behind the sheets? And finally I said, well, they were kind of having sexy naked time. I don't know how that term came out of my mouth. But
is that what you call sex with your husband? Sexy naked
well,
time?
Hold.
Oh.
So the kids both, it was like Cheshire Grin smiles as they were like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? And then my daughter said, do you and Tati have sexy naked time?
Oh my God.
And I said, yes. And there is where the conversation ended because they were like, never mind.
Gross. Oh my God. This thing that Papa and Tati do every other Wednesday under the full moon. Okay. All right.
Sex talks always sneak up on you.
Yeah, I will disgust my children in order to get them to stop talking.
I think that we all need to be doing that because, hey, we all need to be sex positive and stop shunning and shaming and he'll be looking at porn before you ever know it, and you want him to hear it from you before he learns it from Bellamy.
That's very true. I have not been helpful in this, but I do have a dad hack. If that's okay, if we go to our dad hacks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
let's do it.
So this was, of course, all the good things in my life are done by my husband and from my husband. And so when I was out of town.
And with your husband.
And because we have sexy naked time behind the sheets. My son has been like really into like creating characters. He's been reading comic books and he's like, what if there's like Heart Man and he shoots hearts at people, right? He likes doing that. So what my husband and him did while we were out of town, which is so fucking cool, is they started talking about characters that he wanted to create. And my husband entered in everything my son said into ChatGPT.
Awesome.
And had it create an image of these characters. And the images that came out were so fucking cool. And my son's eyes lit up. And he was like, oh my God, that's what I'm talking about. She has the, whatever, the purple hair and the knives in her hands or whatever. And it was so fun. And they made a whole team and they printed them out on paper and they talk about them. And he's like writing stories. And as obviously somebody from the creative world, it is so heartwarming to see him do that. But it was so easy to do. So parents out there, if you have kids who are liking making up stories or making up people, just literally type in exactly what they say into ChatGPT and let it create these people. It literally, like my kid has never been more excited.
That's a great dad hack, taking jobs away from creative writers like yourself.
And killing the world and getting rid of a bunch of water. Yeah, no, I get it.
All of that. Oh, that perfect segue. Since there is absolutely no good news in this week, and I would really double down on my disgust with humanity. No, not humanity. American humanity. A lot of Iranian humanity too, but let's not go there. But a lot of shit out there. But as America's finest news source, I have found 3 things to celebrate, all right?
Wow.
In the news of the week, number 1, the Olympics are around the corner. Do you realize that? I feel like every time the Olympics come up, I'm like, oh shit, already?
Yep.
It's next month. Do you know where the Olympics are next year? this next month.
Detroit, Michigan.
Well, because I'm such a athletic supporter.
Mm-hmm.
Milan, Italy. So it's going to be a sexy Italian.
Yeah, very sexy one.
I mean, bring on the stretch pants for all of those skiers and skaters and whatnot. So the teams are being decided right now. And I want to report that on the women's U.S. Olympic hockey team, there are 3 out queer women. Now, I have a feeling women are pioneers way more.
Sorry to stereotype, but like, I thought you were going to say like 3 straight ones. That I
Well, this was in the headlines, is that there are 3 women who are out on the U.S. Olympic women's hockey team, which obviously is going to get way more coverage this year because of a little certain show that shall remain unnamed right now. Never mind. Let's name it. Heated rivalry. Dude. Yeah. Number 2, Mackenzie Scott. You know who she is? Mm-hmm. She's the billionaire ex-wife of Scott Bezos, who is giving away a lot of money.
Jeff Bezos.
Oh God, right.
That's okay.
Thanks. Yeah. And just taking that Amazon money and spreading it out to honestly do good. Yeah. Well, she gave $45 million to the Trevor Project.
Wow.
$45 million. Compensating for all of the cuts that are being made that are particularly affecting queer youth. So Mackenzie Scott, I'm a big fan. Also, I run a nonprofit. So if you want to, as a listener of Gaytriarchs, if you want to reach out to me, that'd be great. I didn't know whether to make that number 1 or not, that this is a top 3 list, or this last one, but this last one's pretty fucking great, which is the Salt Lake City Council has a majority of their 7 members of queer members. 5 of their city council members are gay in Salt Lake City. Isn't that amazing?
Especially when only 3 of the women's hockey players are gay. This is the upside down that Stranger Things has been. But that's amazing. I have worked in Salt Lake City quite a bit. It is a very progressive, cool, gay town. Yeah. Now, when you take a step outside Salt Lake City, it gets a little morning. But yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, very cool. So probably many of those city council members might be a DILF of the week at some point, but I didn't go down that path because this week I'm giving it a shout out to Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, who has no problem saying, ICE, go fuck yourselves.
Go fuck yourself.
And we'll leave him at that because he's the DILF of the week.
But not just for that. Not just because he's also very hot, guys. This is not a serious thing. We are not doing any good work here. We are just ogling men.
You're right.
It just happens to be. Yeah. No, but I was just looking at the picture that you sent, and I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Totally mess with him in a tea room. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And this is our top 3 list.
Gaytriarchs top 3 list. 3, 2, 1.
This week was my week. Did we just do this last week? We just announced it?
We just announced it because last week was our first week back from the break.
Right. Okay. It feels like we are out of the rhythm here. But our top 3 list this week is things you do with the kids when it's fucking cold outside. So for me, number 3 is, you know what seed bombs are, right? Do you know what seed bombs are? Seed bombs. It's a very preschool thing to do where you put seeds in clay and you toss them out into a garden, and then in the spring, magically, flowers pop up.
Sure.
Well, this is something that we did one time a few years ago, which was I froze toys in glasses and tossed them outside. And I mean, the kids did it. And not only were they thrilled to see their toys frozen in ice, in plastic cups that obviously broke, but then they, we tossed them out in the snow. This was on a particularly snowy day, and they disappeared and completely were forgotten about. And then suddenly we looked like hillbillies with, little small trinket toys out in the yard, but they've kind of, it's a surprise that it's a gift that keeps on giving. So freeze your toys Han Solo style and toss them out in the yard. Number 2, having a kitchen out in the snow. Just toss out some pots and pans and spoons and whatnot and let the kids cook with snow and just go at it. And they do no damage out there. And I did that, I think, 2 or 3 times, and there were definitely dings in the pots and pans, and that was pissed us off. But number 1, have you ever blown bubbles in freezing weather?
I don't think Bubbles was his name. What was his name?
Yeah. Well, as you know, blowing bubbles in the freezing weather can be magical. Yes. I'll leave it at that. Thank you for shitting on my number one, but actually making it better. What about you, David?
I mean, it's funny. Your top 3 list very much centers on what you can do to embrace the cold. And I'm realizing that my top 3 list is very much things how to avoid the cold.
Yes. You know, I remember being in the depths of having 2-year-olds and, just being at my wit's end, and my core was hurting, and Danette Holden, early guest of the pod, was like, yeah, your core hurts, doesn't it? You can't cry. And being stuck inside, blah, blah, blah. And Googling like the right weather, or excuse me, the right clothing. And then I found like bougie Norwegian, unibody kind of, I don't know, outfits that they could wear. But the whole idea was like, in Scandinavia, they do not stay inside. They just go out. And so you just have to suck it up and get out there, because the kids are impervious to the cold. They don't give a shit. Don't you find?
Hard disagree with my 3-year-old when we went to go sledding, and we were about halfway across the parking lot, and she screamed, cried, want to go home. But here are my top 3 things to do. Now, again, from the point of view of somebody with younger kids, to do when it's freezing cold outside. Number 1, morning or daytime bath. Like a disco bath, a bath at not the right time somehow is super fun for these kids. Magical. And they will stay in there so much longer than you think they will. And what we'll do is a disco bath, which basically means we turn the lights off. We have like a little strobe light, or we do like glow sticks from the dollar store. And then we play disco music, and they eat it up. So number 3, disco daytime bath. Number 2, playing in the car. And what I mean by playing in the car is we go in the car as if we're going to go somewhere, but we don't go anywhere. But they don't have to wear seatbelts. They're allowed to climb to the trunk. They're allowed to sit in the front seat. They're allowed to honk the horn. You would think that they are in the middle of Chuck E. Cheese, because they're like, I get to go to the trunk, and they bring toys, and it just feels like this huge fucking adventure. That's great. You're just in your car. And number 1, I've mentioned this as a dad hack before. I will stand by this for as long as I live, because it has saved me on so many fucking days with my young ones. Bob's Discount Furniture. Going to Bob's Discount Furniture is the best thing in the world, because your kids can just fucking go. Everything is soft. It's just a bunch of couches. You can pretend like you're looking for something. They have free ice cream and free drinks in the back.
What?
Yes. What? Have you ever been to a Bob's Discount Furniture?
Never.
There's in the back. First of all, they have bathrooms. Second of all, it's warm inside. Third of all, they have this little ice cream. It's called Bob. I forget what they call it, but it's like meant for families with kids, and you can just have some ice cream. Oh yeah, it is. Now listen, for those of you who shop at Bob's and are annoyed by all the children running amok, I am sorry, but I needed this. So number 1, Bob's Discount Furniture.
Wait, in your number 1 there, do you pretend to be on shopping? Because furniture salespeople are they're the
worst. They're the worst. But I think they can smell it coming. I think they see 2 homosexuals with young kids, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm not selling them a couch here." But you lie and say I'm looking for a couch. Listen, we have bought furniture from there, so they could sell something. But we are not there for furniture. We are there to play on the furniture.
What about next week?
All right, so next week it's still freezing cold. So I want to say, what are your top 3 soups? It's not a sexy one.
The simplicity of that always cracks me up. Great.
Gavin, this week, Gaytriarchs teamed up with the Make-A-Wish Foundation to make one little gay boy's dream come true by being on our very successful podcast. Now, you may remember his very feminine voice from last year's episode, number 123, with the host of the failed Out Loud and Laughing podcast. This week, we are doing some good in the world and giving back to the less fortunate members of our podcast society. Please welcome to the show someone as loud as they are disappointing, Bryan Ruiz.
I am so excited to be here. I think the interesting thing is the Make-A-Wish Foundation came to me and said that you guys needed me to show up to your podcast to make a wish for you. So
the winner in all of this is the Make-A-Wish Foundation, who's getting double the coverage.
I am rubber. You are glue. Everything you say. It's. I always like to start every interview with making fun of a foundation that deals with children dying.
100%.
Yeah, no, it's really important. You are obviously you're in the second timer club now on Gaytriarchs. This is a pretty big deal for you.
You don't get a watch yet though, or a jacket.
Am I one of the first?
No, you're not the first, but you are now in the club.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like being in a club.
Yeah. We do have a three-peat club, like, you know, a threesome club, but we'll work to that. Okay,
but that's our max. So if you ever get to 4G, you'll be the top dog, which is very exciting.
So impress us
own
here
your podcast.
Impress us here, and we'll make it happen.
But we wanted to bring you back because you and I have now become friends outside of the podcast sphere. And you recently had something pretty devastating happen in your life. And I wanted to exploit it for my show. No, just kidding. No, but anyway, you and I were texting this morning and I was like, you know, this is something you're dealing with that's really difficult, but it's also something that I think could be very helpful for other gay dads and other dads in general and other parents, really, because a lot of people go through this. So what I'm talking about is obviously you recently had a dog that passed. And I had another friend that had their dog pass. And I think it's been really fascinating to watch as somebody who hasn't had a dog in quite a long time and to remember how fucking huge a pet is in your life. So before we start anything, tell me a little bit about Piper and how they came into your life and who we're talking about.
Okay, Piper, she used they, them pronouns. Just kidding. Although she probably would have.
David anticipated that. And do you think that came directly from Piper, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. Okay, so we put our dog down on 12/25/25, so we'll never forget the day. She now owns Christmas forever. Which good for her. Okay, so Piper, Adam and I started dating in 2013. Like any gay relationship, he practically moved in like a date later. And for 6 months in, we were basically saying, wouldn't it be nice if we had a dog on the couch with us? And Adam was always like, I would love a dog, but we're not getting a dog. But if we got a dog, I would want a Frenchie Brown, and he had his whole list. David now knows Adam and can hear him say it. Mm-hmm. So very controlling, in a good way. So we were at brunch and we were drinking in New York City because we had no kids and no responsibility. God, I miss those days. And I was just on my phone and I found a place that had this dog. And again, we went to go see some other Frenchies in the city, and we were like, they were cute. Don't get me wrong. Any puppy's fucking cute. But the puppy was just like, didn't really care about us. And then when we met this dog, this beautiful little female dog, she just kept jumping on our lap. She wouldn't leave. She didn't care about anyone else. And we were like, okay, this dog chose us, right? Like Piper chose us. Great. And so we brought her home, right? And she was in our life when we started dating. She was in our life when we moved to London. She was in our life when we moved back from London and bought a home. She was in our lives when we had both kids. So Piper was here for every single thing. Yeah. So I think to your point, David, it's like from start to end, she embraced all the hardships and all the fun ships with us. And I think that's where it was like, okay, she's actually not a dog. She's our daughter. Mm-hmm. There would actually be times when the babies would run into her, like hit her. We would swipe the babies out of the way, not the dog. Like
she was here first, bitch. Yeah.
Literally. Yeah. So she was a fifth member of the family, and that wasn't easy.
And when people who don't have pets, first of all, don't get it. That's for sure. Especially people who don't have dogs. All respect to the cat lovers out there. I mean, dogs are just, special. But it is so true that when I was a kid, I had a dog that spanned, say, kindergarten to college. I mean, she'd lived about 13 years or so. And when she passed, it felt like it was an end of an era. And the era being she was the connecting ligaments to all sorts of things, including in particular my dad, who unfortunately passed away when I was 8. And when the dog went, I felt like it was a lost connection to my dad that was really profound.
Mm. Yeah, 100%. I think this dog, I mean, again, David, you met Piper. She was very quiet. She wasn't the loudest dog. She just liked to sleep. But even with her being gone, it feels so much more silent now in the house. Mm-hmm. And that's something that we're trying to deal with. Like, her bed was in a certain spot. It's gone. Like, I would unlock the door every morning so she could pee. I don't have to do that anymore. So, like, our lives have been disrupted because the norm is no longer the norm. And that's a little unsettling right now for us.
Yeah. And I think that was the first thing I wanted to kind of say and bring up is I think people often underestimate how important a pet is in a family's life. Like you're saying, Gavin is the connective tissue. Like you're saying, the routine. But I think there is this weird shame that sometimes pet owners feel about how important their animals are to them. I have another friend who recently lost their dog, and they don't have kids, but they've been really devastated. And it's been a month where they're like, I can't even go out of the house. And I think they feel a little bit of shame about that. Like, I shouldn't feel this bad. But it is absolutely, like you said, this is a fifth member of your family. Yes, they lick their own asshole, but we would too if we could. I would lick my own asshole if we do. Yes, I lick other people's assholes. But it really is. I wanted to take that first point of like, this is a real family member. Sure. And so the loss is profound, especially when it is, like you're saying, it spans the entire outspans the entire relationship of your children, of your lives and everything. And Gavin, to your point, it feels like a distancing from some of that other stuff, which has got to be so fucking hard.
Well, one thing that I talked to someone about this yesterday is, and I thought this was interesting, like animal aside, this being, I will say, in our lives, we run into humans all the time. And a lot of us, like with, let's say, our parents, we'll see them end their life, but we never saw them start their life. With our kids, God willing, we saw them start their life. We won't see them end their life because ours will end first. But with animals and dogs who do become extensions of your family, you have to do it from start to finish, right? So, our lives are not, like Piper was like 20-30% of my life because I have a bunch of other things going on. But to Piper, we were 100% of her life from start to finish. And so for us, it was just super important to make sure that every single moment we had with her, even to the very last breath, is she felt that warmth and comfort and love from us because we were all she had. We were her life. She was put on this planet to be there for Bryan and Adam. And that no one really has that same mantra except for animals.
Yeah.
And so then in all of this heavy things, you felt like you had to double down and make it go on Christmas, huh? On Christmas. You were like
stealing Jesus's birthday from his cold, dead hands.
Taking that spotlight.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so I can give a little more background. She had a tumor on her heart, this like 3-inch tumor on her heart. And she was a French bulldog, so pretty much the size of her heart was a tumor on her heart. So we did radiation in the summer to lessen that tumor. We were given a 90% shrinkage rate, which would have bought her a couple more years. Other than that, she was in great health. Fast forward to December, she got pneumonia, which is not great for the lungs. And through a lot of the scans on pneumonia, they actually said the tumor didn't shrink at all. So by the time we got to like December 24th, 25th, her breathing was so bad because her heart was overworking and her lungs were overworking. And you could just see like she just wasn't good. Like I think she even looked up at me and she was like, it's my time. Luckily, we had all day of Christmas. And Adam and I took her to the emergency vet at like 9:30 p.m. So she had all day Christmas. The kids were in bed, and which I know we'll talk about. The kids were asleep. Adam and I were able to do this without rushing, at peace. We were there for a while. Like we were able to do what Adam and I have always set out to do for her, and like make sure her last moments was we brought her bed, her blanket, everything, just expecting it to happen. So she died in her room, thinking it was the living room, right? So we did all that right, but then then the reality set in on December 26th. Like, oh shit, we have 2 kids who love this animal. Adam and I are now also grieving, and so like, how do we corral all these emotions, coupling with the fucking holiday that it still is too, which is supposed to be a happy time. So we had to navigate all the complexities there.
And that was going to be where I was going to go to next. Is that I want to know how you grieve the loss of this pet, but really, you kind of have to put that aside for a second. And how did you explain this to your children who are, 6 and 4 and are young and who have known Piper their whole lives? How did you roll it out?
So they still think she's on vacation. They haven't even told her that.
She's at an all-inclusive in Jamaica, babe. She is living her life.
Piper really wanted to study abroad, kids. So I wish it was that easy. So no, to your point, like I could talk about Adam and I know how we're grieving, but for the kids, we said, listen, first of all, we texted my parents the night before, so they knew exactly how we were going to tell the kids. Because I don't want my parents to say anything. Like it should be coming from us. My parents were with us for the holidays. I should give that background. So Adam and I actually said that morning, we said, let's go into both kids' rooms before they go downstairs and tell them before they even go into the new reality of Piper's not downstairs. So, and we did it separately, each kid separately, because Kenzie's 6 and Ollie's 4. And I think we all know that that's even a huge age gap on emotional stability and how you deal with it. So we did it with Kenzie first. And we just explained to her that, which I want to deep dive into this, but my grandmother died last year. So we were like, Kenzie, Piper is now with, we call her abuela. That's Spanish for grandmother. Piper's with abuela. We just kept it simple because Kenzie kind of knows. And Kenzie's like, so Piper died. And we were like, she like, Kenzie's 6. So we don't want to say like, no. We're like, no, Piper died. Yes. And she's with abuela. Wherever Kenzie wants to think that is angels, we didn't get into any of that, but we just said that. And she was like, okay. And she was fine with that.
And she knew, both kids knew that Piper was old and Piper's days were numbered or not?
They didn't know Piper's days were numbered, but they knew that she was old, right? Like they always knew that, be careful around Piper. Like you have to be careful. Like you don't want to hurt her. She's older, blah, blah, blah.
Step off, bitch.
Ollie,
she was here first.
Yeah, 100%. Ollie was a little bit Ollie was slightly easier. And I will say that because he's 4 and we were coming off of Christmas Day. So basically we woke him up and we said, listen, like, Piper is with abuela. It's the same exact speech. But he was like, okay, are my presents still downstairs from yesterday? We're like, yeah. And he ran downstairs to play with his presents. So like, but he's 4, right? Yeah. So he just knows that she's not there. Now, what's interesting now is like, I think like a few days ago, Ollie just basically looked at me and goes, I miss Piper. So I think it's starting to connect with him a little bit more. And then Kenzie, the day we told her, was just breaking down into tears a couple of times. But I don't know if that was necessarily because of Piper or more because Adam and I kept breaking down in tears and she saw that and felt that. And I feel like, again, she's 6. She can feel that energy a little bit more.
Yeah. And I think that's where I want to go to next, is I want to make sure that you guys have your due, sans your children and sans all these things. Is like you guys are allowed or should be able to or need to grieve. This parallel with your children but that is also curated. But how do you guys do that? Do you feel like you sneak away to cry? Like how are you processing this in a way that you think is healthy or not? Maybe not.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys know more than anything. Like we put the children's emotions first, right? So we dealt with that so quickly. But I don't think that we were hiding our emotions about our sadness on it, right? I wouldn't say that if Adam is breaking down because he's having a moment about Piper, that he's walking to another room. Like, we're not doing that. And I don't think I want to hide grief from my kids. Not Absolutely to say if anyone wants to or needs to, that's up to them. I just think for my household, like, people are going to die. Bad things are going to happen. And it's okay to be sad about it because that's why you have family and you should be there for each other. I think that's kind of where we're leaning. But it's also been very interesting to understand how grief is different for everyone, right? Like Adam still is having moments where he's breaking down. He says a part of me died and my daughter is gone. And for him, it's very deep and I'm crying less, but I do weird things. Like Piper's now on our mantle in a nice, beautiful box. And I walk by at least once a day and pet it. So like we deal with it in very different ways. And I think what it's taught me, because after like day 2, I'm like, Adam, it's like, stop breaking down crying. Like, you're being obnoxious. But then I realize I'm like, but that's his way of doing this. And I can't tell him how he should grieve and how I should grieve. So it's actually taught me a little more empathy on like, some people, people are sad regardless. How you deal with it is up to you.
Yeah.
How do the kids react when you are upset?
They definitely feel it, right? I think Kenzie more than Ollie, where Kenzie broke down crying. But I think like an Ollie as an example at 4, when we're having a moment, he just cuddles up with you. Like he just wants to be close to you. I think he almost feels like he's filling a void a little bit. So yeah, but I mean, every day it's getting a little bit easier. Yeah, exactly. I think every day it's getting slightly easier and we're just kind of, she's not coming back. So we're just trying to figure out, like, okay,
well, not with that
this is the new normal.
She's not. My God, have a little bit of.
I know. I'm hoping for Easter to be risen.
I mean, listen. I went to your house on New Year's Eve, and I remember Adam was really struggling then, and it got in the way of me eating some of the snacks there. So I really liked him to think about me first.
I mean, you took a big doggy bag home, so we're still talking about it.
That was some delicious doggy bag stuff. It is. I love your point. I have been not fortunate enough to not have to deal with something that big with my kids yet. And so I'm kind of in that stage of like before I'm a parent, talking about how I'm going to be a parent, like how I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. But what I especially love about what you're talking about is like not hiding your grief from your children. Mm-hmm. More is like a lesson of like people grieve. Daddy gets sad. Daddy has a life too. And that is, and I am sad for this too, versus like kind of putting everything under the rug, because you're trying to also build healthy emotional habits with them, I assume.
Yeah.
One would hope.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we're all dealing with trauma. No, but like we always talk to our kids and we say, how was your day? And we want honest answers. And we're teaching our kids to ask us, how was your day? Right. And, it's important to check in on our emotions. And I don't know. It felt right to us to do that. I will say, funny story though, is my grandmother died earlier last year.
Oh, that's not the funny story. Oh, okay. I thought it was the funny.
No. Still dealing with that one too. No, just kidding. But following that, John, my Out Loud and Laughing podcast, watch a real podcast, guys.
Wow.
But his dog, he had to put his dog down shortly after my grandmother. And then John's mom had to put her dog down last year. And then in December, John's sister put her dog down, and then Piper. And we were like, my bitch of a grandmother is just stealing these puppies because she is so fucking bored up there.
Bored as fuck up there. She's taking people.
She's taking all the joy to just figure out. Go ahead, see what you can do without me. All right.
Correct.
All right.
And then, okay, so then, and I would love to hear your opinions on this. I have opinions, but I won't say them. So all 4 dogs died. Mine, the last one to die on December 25th. My brother texted us 2 weeks later that they got a dog.
Oh.
And they were like celebrating it.
Oh. Wow.
Just the timing.
Not with a little filter of like, hey, I know you're going through something, but just like
a little bit.
Just wow, selfies with a puppy. Wow.
Oh, that's a tough one, because like, listen, they want to live their life, they want to get a puppy, but also, maybe we keep that maybe a little more discreet for a minute.
I don't know. The entire world is less considerate as I want them to be, and I don't mind calling out your brother to say that was a little soon, too soon, literally too soon.
Stay in the closet.
Which is our advice in general. Keep your emotions very close, swallow them down, and just stay in the closet. So for our listener out there who maybe is gonna get a pet or has a pet and has children, this is obviously this everyone will probably have to kind of put their pet down. Do you have any advice for dads out there or parents out there who have kids and pets, if and when this happens, how to kind of get through the process?
I mean, I definitely think over the last year or two, we've had conversations with our kids that, Piper isn't here forever. So we laid a little bit of foundation so they understood that, because I think kids, when they are born into an animal situation, I don't think Kenzie or Ollie ever thought that Piper would be gone,
Kids become obsessed with death, though, too. I mean, it's something that we, as a society, I think we often focus on stories about it because, common child psychology shows that we need to be able to address it. And so, but it's a tool for learning and just part of the life process to be able to have them on the journey.
Can I tell you that my mom is in town right now visiting, and my son is obsessed with death right now, like you were just saying.
Yes.
And he turned to her and he said, out of the blue, I want to watch you pass away.
Wow. Nice.
So,
kind of beautiful.
I'm a murderer. Clearly, I have a psychopath for his child. Anyway,
one of my favorite moments of my son's was when he was sitting with a friend of his way back in like preschool, and the preschooler offered to him, "Hey, if I die, you can take my nanny."
That's nice.
That's
very giving.
She was a giver,
yeah.
A sage.
Yeah.
I remember her.
But anyway, back to you, Bryan. What advice do you have?
No, I mean, I think the main thing is we were very open about the whole situation, but I also think we were always mindful that the kids would never be there for the moment. So because I feel like that's a little traumatic. It was actually traumatic for me. For anyone that hasn't put a dog down, like it's very quick. It's a good 10 seconds. Like the dog goes to sleep very quickly, and then they inject something to stop the heart. But when they put them to sleep, their eyes don't close, which is very weird. Yeah. So I was closing her eyes for her. And then like it's a very weird moment. And I think so like all that aside, the kids, Piper was there one day, Piper's gone the next. Like that's enough for them, I feel like at that age. Yeah. They don't even know they don't even know she's on the mantle. Like we haven't even, because it just doesn't feel like we need to unpack that yet.
Things like sex and death, age appropriate. Just make it age appropriate. That's perfect.
Honestly, and like simple for them. It's very sad, very simple. Let's not overcomplicate it. And that's been fine. So I think the advice is just meet the kid where they're at their age, right? And that's why I think we dealt with Kenzie and Ollie individually. Like we just sit the whole family down, right? We had a moment with Kenzie, we had a moment with Ollie, and I think that was for us the right thing to do. Just to make sure that they both were comfortable with the situation, as comfortable as you can be, I guess.
Yeah. Did you guys cry when you told them?
Yeah. Yeah. They knew instantly that we were very, very, very sad. I mean, again, it happened at 10:34 p.m. on 12/25/25. And we woke them up at 6. So Adam and I also had less than 8 hours to even think about and like deal with it ourselves, right? So like talk about like super fresh and super raw, and not even the good kind. So, there we are.
Well done.
Oh, he knows what show he's on.
There is no right way to do it, but I think that you guys did it the right way.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the one thing is now there's no more dog coming into this house ever again. I'll check in again with him in a year and a half, but I am of the same belief right now where I'm like, I'm good. Did you know her pet insurance this year would have been $400 a month?
Wow. Damn, seriously?
Wow.
And you had pet insurance? Wait, so did your pet insurance cover the radiation?
A good amount of it.
Wow.
Yeah, but like financially, these pets are a lot of money, and I'm sure you guys have talked about this on the pod. Financially, having kids is a lot. So like that. We're like, at least there's a silver lining, I guess.
You have a vacation. You have a vacation.
But I think what you're probably feeling about like the not having another dog thing is a normal part of this process where all you can feel when you think dog is pain. And I think that will probably maybe ebb and change and morph, and maybe there will be room down the line. But I think right now you're just like, I don't want to feel this again. Right. So,
correct.
I thank you for being on our stupid little podcast and talking about something that's pretty personal and pretty vulnerable.
I love charity.
I know you're really good to us. But I really do. I think this is going to be really helpful to a lot of our listeners.
Yeah.
But if you are bored, if you have nothing else to do, listener, please listen to him wax on about whatever on his show, Out Loud and Laughing. We love you, actually, and thank you for coming on our stupid little podcast.
We love you, Bryan. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
So just this morning, I discovered a new podcast on my feed. I'm obsessed with Throughline. I say it all the time. It's a really fantastic history one, but they are doing a specific limited series on America 250 and the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. And it's a 15-minute weekly podcast called America in Pursuit. And it is all of the DEI. We are going to examine the real history of the United States, and not in a aggressive, pissed off way, but in a realistic way. 15 minutes a week. I highly recommend it. That is my something great, is called America in Pursuit.
My something great this week is something I saw on a plane. Now, I have been flying a lot lately, and I will be continuing to fly a lot. So I've kind of reached the end of the list of what you can watch on the planes. I feel like it's always the same. But I was like, I'm going to watch every stand-up on here, whatever it is. And I came across this stand-up comedian who I've never seen before. And he has a new special called Gerard Carmichael, Don't Be Gay. And I was like, okay, here we go. Same old fucking coming out stories, same old bullshit. No. Not only is it fucking hilarious, this guy is really funny. He's got a really great point of view on everything. The stories are not stale. but it is directed so. It's got such a unique point of view the way it's directed. If you've ever watched a stand-up special, they're all directed the exact same way. We start with them backstage, they're walking out, and you hear the announcer goes, and it's a camera following them, and then you pants out, and then whatever. It's all the same. This one is they just decided to do something a little more unique, and it's just such a breath of fresh air of like stand-up comedy, but also his stuff is so fucking funny. I was stifling laughing. It's a lot about being gay. It's just great. So it's Gerard Carmichael, Don't Be Gay.
Gerard, we can't wait for you to be our next guest on Gaytriarchs.
And Gavin, I've been trying to get you not to be gay for a very long time.
But listen, nothing can be more aggressive than the way I was trying to not be gay for half of my life. And that's our show. If you have any comments, suggestions, or general compliments, you can email us at GaytriarchsPodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can DM us on Instagram. We are at GaytriarchsPodcast. On the internet, David is at David FM Vaughn everywhere, and Gavin is at Gavin Lodge on Bellamy.
Please leave us a glowing 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks, and we'll be gay with you next time on another episode of Gaytriarchs.